Pay attention, real estate investors. If you're making over $150,000 in household income, I can make you over $300,000 guaranteed in 7 days using advanced tax and legal protection. My company focuses exclusively on real estate investors, and we help them accelerate cash flow and net worth by optimizing their combined investment, tax, and legal strategy. So it's so easy. Someone making just $150,000 annually can get their tax rate lowered, saving them over $12,000 a year. We can protect you from over $65,900 in estimated legal costs. And over a 20-year period, that's going to give you over $300,000 as an ROI. I'm going to show you in more detail about how do we get to these numbers exactly, but imagine what this could do for your portfolio. Imagine how this could be your best performing investment. And I got to tell you, this is actually a conservative estimate. It actually pays about 2 to 3x that for the majority of our clients once they implement our system and join in our team. So listen, the biggest problem we face as real estate investors is this exact scenario. The house is on fire. We know we need to do something, and we're telling ourselves everything is fine. But guess what? It's not your fault. Look, the world is full of all kinds of confusing information that's out there, and what we need is clarity. The best way to get to clarity is to partner with a fully in-house team that focuses especially on real estate investors and can do everything on the legal side, the tax side, the insurance side, and on the investment advisory side. Because what we know is when we look at net worth and cash flow over time, what we're looking for is to not be a procrastinator. They don't get anywhere. We don't want to be the frantic people jumping all around. Ultimately, they bottom out. We want to act like the rich here. We want to set up systems and processes to be able to have continued growth over time without the big ups and downs, and then experience that big J curve of cash flow and net worth when the system gets dialed in. But how do we do it? Everybody's investing, and everybody wants stability and accelerated cash flow and net worth. If you're anything like me, what I did is look at people that were much more successful than me. I looked at what Warren Buffett said. He said, never lose money, never forget rule number one, right? It's all about downside risk protection. So what do? Protection from lawsuit and taxes is the number one way you can accelerate your cash flow and net worth. So let's see how it works. So you can make over $65,000 in legal protection by just making sure you're not a victim to frivolous lawsuits. There's 40 million frivolous lawsuits that are filed annually, and being honest won't protect you because people just lie when they want your money. And the insurance companies aren't fully reliable. They're profit-seeking corporations. Their business model is literally to accept the payment for the premiums and then to deny coverage. But the issue is that if you're the target of being sued because you own assets in your own name, for example, and you're an easy target, you can't risk fighting these lawsuits. But it costs you over $1 million to try to fight these lawsuits. So what do? It's the same thing everybody does. You settle out. And the average cost to a settlement is about $65,000. Next, what you need to do is make over $300K in tax protection. Every single client that comes into Royal Legal Solutions, we have saved them money on tax. Most people get their taxes cut at least in half. And what this means is typically about a $5,000 to $25,000 annual tax savings. That's right. Every single year, you could be saving $5,000 to $25,000 by just not overpaying in taxes because you're using the right legal and tax strategies. So listen, this is really how the decision goes. It's either you're going to pay $5,000 to $25K a year in overpaying in taxes to the government. You either pay $65,000 to these litigation attorneys at some point in the future when you face a lawsuit, or you can pay a fraction of that and get protected. Now, this isn't just a theory. The system has been battle tested with over 2,000 clients nationwide. I paid my way through law school with real estate investing, and I scaled to 10 single family homes in 2 years after I graduated. And these are the solutions that I had to build for myself. These are the things that I am offering to you. It doesn't just work for me. It works for people like Paige Panzarella, who's a cash flow chick. She owns her business, does $150 million in transactions. She lost her entire portfolio because she wasn't fully protected. before she met us. Now she's protected and she's going gangbusters at it. Daniel Ramsey is the owner of My Outdesk. He 3x his business while paying $0 in taxes while working with us. Scott Sutherland went from 4 to 40 single family homes while working with us. Now, Sean Keese, he's only doing 2 to 3 properties a year, but he's building it with his kids. He's building true generational wealth by teaching them the business of real estate investing from the ground up. And guys like Dixon Kirkland, they're only doing a few properties a year, but man, I love it because his sisters and with us, his brothers are with us, his parents are with us. Everybody in this family has come to us, and we love that. So we're a good fit for you if you want to accelerate your cash flow and your net worth. You want a protection from the lawsuits, and you want privacy and a plan to make sure your loved ones are taken care of when you're gone. And you want a proven system and a team to do the heavy lifting for you and support you every step of the way. Because here's the truth. You can accelerate your cash flow and net worth with real estate investing. However, you are just wasting time with endless research, trying to figure out everything on your own and trying to figure out who can do it for you. We are the only people out there that are dedicated to solving this problem for real estate investors. And before we get into the steps and the how-tos, I just want to give you guys a quick background on our company, just for the credibility reasons. You know, we've worked with over 2,000 real estate investors nationwide over the last 8 years. We protect over 1.2 billion in assets, and we work with people from folks that are just getting started to major portfolios that are over $50 million. And our team is robust. We have 4 attorneys, 8 paralegals, CPAs, MBAs, fractional CFOs to do that in-depth financial analysis, insurance agents, and investing specialists. And our legal protection systems have been stress tested in actual litigation where me, Scott Royal Smith, has worked hand in hand with local attorneys to defend from those lawsuits using the structures I use for myself and the same structures we use for all of our clients. We have never lost a case. I am teaching about this stuff every chance I can go. Like, I'm on Grant Cardone, Rod Cleef, Matt Faircloth, Bigger Pockets. I am all over the place trying to give away all these secrets. I never stop inventing new tools to help investors accelerate their wealth. I mean, early on, I studied over 100 self-made investors who went from 0 to 5 million net worth. And then I distilled their practices inside of these execution tools, inside of these courses. We teach on it regularly inside of the group coaching. And I even created a private community for you guys to be able to interact with each other and my professional team. So we have hundreds of ebooks, videos, training courses, everything to help you get up and running. Because what we know is that it's easy when it's all put together. And all you need is the right team to guide you on what you need to learn and what you need to do to take action. The problem is, up until now, you've been trying to do everything on your own to get it set up right. And you were forced to quarterback everything for your team. And when the attorney contradicts the CPA, who contradicts the insurance agent, you're just left in the middle wanting to pull your hair out instead of making the great deals happen and growing your business. That's why we provide the team for you. We build everything for you. We train you how to use it so you can be self-sufficient if you want to. And we provide you next day support so you can move faster and easier, make those decisions, make more money. That's what we're all about here. So, all right. So far, what I've talked to you about is how our team will help you make money immediately with the tax and legal protection. But once you have a team playing all of this defense for you, doing these operational things for you, you can focus on offense and increasing your top line revenue. Honestly, that's how Daniel 3X'd his business and how Scott went from 4 to 40 properties and how Paige pushed $150 million in transactions. It wasn't just about the tax and legal savings that we gave to them. It was allowing them to outsource all of the heavy lifting onto a team, cover all the gaps for them. And this allowed them to focus on growing their business, on growing the top line revenue. So let's look at options that you have out here. You got guys like Tom Wheelwright in the CPA, and they are great CPAs, right? But they're only going to do the CPA work. They can't do everything else for you. And it feels like going to be the same place you're at anyway, which is essentially just herding kittens. Now, you also have options like Anderson Advisors. They do the tax and they do the legal, but they don't offer any in-depth financial analysis like what a fractional CFO would be able to give you for your company and for your investing. And they can't do the insurance. And all of these guys are doing everything with high upfront fees and then hourly billables on top of it. We take an entirely different approach. With us, everything is included, so you get to know all the upfront costs in a way that is transparent and controllable. And we have the minimum annual costs as we possibly can, because what we know is every dollar saved means another dollar invested for you, which accelerates your pathway to financial freedom. And the more that we can help you accelerate into your investing, the more business that you're going to have for us to do. All right, so before we go any further, I just want to check in with you about how easy this is. All you have to do to accelerate your cash flow net worth is get a proven system with a proven team, get real estate specific tax strategy, insurance strategy, bulletproof asset protection, establish some generational wealth through your estate planning, access coaching and resource tools, be able to get real estate specific legal support on demand by next day when you need it, and free your time to focus on the deal making. That's how you get those 3x, those 10x types of results. This is going to accelerate your cash flow and your net worth and give you the full peace of mind that you've been looking for. Again, this is for real estate investors who want to accelerate their cash flow and net worth, but are struggling to get everything working right and are unable to achieve the true durable financial freedom, which we got into real estate investing in the beginning to want to be able to move to the next level. So if this sounds appealing to you, I'm offering this to you to join the community of over 2,000 real estate investors who we've helped so far that operate in all 50 states. You can check us out. I mean, we have reviews from years ago, just pages and pages of online reviews. We've helped tons of people over the years. Every type of real estate investor has come through our door in all different kinds of situations. And so let's talk about now about what you get if this sounds good to you so far. The benefits and outcomes you're going to get with us is you're going to get the cutting edge legal, tax, and investing support. It's going to give you an over 1,000% plus ROI. We're going to be able to build all of these things for you inside of just 6 weeks. If you ever get sued, you're going to laugh at lawsuits because all of your assets and your companies are going to be held anonymously, protected by multiple legal firewalls. You're going to know your family is taken care of when you're gone because you're going to have a great wealth plan using a living trust to pass those assets anonymously to your heirs. You're going to make money faster and easier because you're going to be focusing on your deal making, focusing on your business with trusted people to take care of everything else for you. You're going to get the support on demand so you can make decisions faster. Remember, you're going to get answers by the next business day from the paralegal team and the attorney team. And you're going to feel confident that everything is done right with a professional team that is watching your back. Because ultimately, that's what you need to be able to make it happen. So if you want to make over $240,000 with just the protection, you can make it rain. And it's so easy to be able to do it. All you have to do is start with the tax strategy. Optimize your deductions. You create your legal tax shelters. You review the prior 2 years' returns so we can know exactly what's happening before you came in with us. We look at the projections that are going to come up in the next year, and we go ahead and then map out, here's the tax strategies that you need to implement. And if we do those, how does that impact your cash flow, your net worth, and your total tax liability? Those are the 3 essential financial KPIs that everything drives to: your cash flow, your net worth, and your total tax liability. Next, we're going to look at your portfolio. We're going to look at individual investments, your existing ones, as well as new ones. We're going to see how those investments play into the overall portfolio. And then we're going to link those investments to your tax strategy. We're going to talk about how a depreciation can be used from your real estate to offset your active income. Maybe you need to be in oil and gas investments. Maybe you need to be in real estate investments. It all depends on the type of income and what that situation looks like. But you can get your tax rate down to $0 if you make the right investments. Now, lastly, we built the foundations in steps 1 and 2 here. What we need to do is train you how to do it and optimize it to your lifestyle. So what do we do for that? It's 12 monthly meetings. When in those monthly meetings, what do? We talk to you about what needs to change and pivot with anything that you're considering so far. What new investments are you looking at that we need to run analysis on? If we do those investments, how's that going to impact your portfolio? And then how's that going to impact your taxes? And do we need to change anything with your tax strategy if we go ahead and make that move and get that next big win up? Then we're also going to talk to you about what do you have coming on the next month, because you might be going to Hawaii and you say, hey, we're going to Hawaii here with me and the family for 4 days. What should we be doing with that? And say, great. Well, I want you to take a meeting on the first and the last day that you're there. So that way the whole thing can be a business write-off. And that way we're able to dial in your tax strategy, your portfolio strategy, and your lifestyle to make sure that you're claiming every possible deduction that you can legally claim. Now, building these tax vehicles is part of what we do as an overarching system, and that's what you're seeing here. When you want to look at the easiest low-hanging fruit for most people that are self-employed in 1099, it's these: the self-directed IRAs, solo 401ks, defined benefit plans, and private pensions. Those can protect over $250,000 from tax. They can grow tax-free, and they can invest in things like real estate, notes, in the stock market, almost whatever you want that's outside of like art and those kinds of super speculative things. What you can also do if you're a W-2 worker is establish things like private foundations, which protect over 30% of your income from tax. So if you're making $150,000 a year, this can be huge for you, even if you're a W-2 worker. Now, if you're 1099 and self-employed, good news, you can actually use all of these strategies. So let me show you how this works. On a W-2 strategy, we look at these 501c3s, the private foundations. It protects up to 30% of your income. That's the maximum it can do. But only if we protect even a portion of that. Look at the tax savings. It's almost $10,000 annually, and it impacts down to one of your key financial performance indicators, which is your net worth. Your cash flow just went up by 10 grand. And guess what? Your net worth also just went up by $10,000. And this is just in 1 year. Now, if you're 1099 and self-employed, you can still do the private foundations, but you can also look at these solo 401ks. You can look at paying your children for work. These are the business owner hacks. For most business owners that are making over $150,000 a year, we're saving over $18,000 a year in tax. And again, look, it drives your key performance indicators. That's how we know which strategy should be used. Lastly, what we do is we look at your portfolio. We're going to look at what are the cash flow from the investments? What's the depreciation that's going to help us offset taxes? And we're looking at the cap rate of these various investments to see how are they really performing for us over time. Should we get rid of the Front Street investment here, be able to sell that and be able to get into a great multifamily syndication or an oil and gas deal or whatever the case may be. Now, the great thing here, guys, is that a lot of people don't know is that some of the investments you can make are only going to be appropriate for people that can claim like real estate professional designation. If you don't know what that is, you're going to want to get into our vault of assets that I told you about earlier and learn more about that. Other people are like, well, I'm W-2, I can't do anything. Absolutely, you can. You can use the private foundations to protect income, and you can invest in oil and gas machinery that's going to give you about a 25% annual return, cash flows to you quarterly, and has 100% depreciation that you can push against your W-2 income. So there's a lot of options if you know how to do it. Then you can create the financial models using our CFO, who's also your CPA, to be able to show you what your future is going to look like. How close are you to retirement, and how is that actually going to play out, and what is retirement actually going to look like? When can you be done with the rat race? Next, what we look for is attorney-backed anonymity. You don't want to get caught with your pants down by owning everything in your personal name. I mean, a lot of people don't realize it only takes $12.60 to be able to pull up the reports to find out what you own, how much did you acquire it for, what's the current value of it, how much is the loan that's on the property. This is how people find out if you're a good target to be sued. You don't want to have any assets inside of your personal name. You want to own them anonymously, which means behind an attorney and behind an anonymous trust, so they can't find anything out about it, right? So when you look at how to be able to avoid the $65,000 to $70,000 in attorney's fees from a lawsuit, this is how you do it. It makes it look like you own nothing. And when it looks like you don't own anything, all of a sudden it becomes very risky to sue somebody. If they don't own anything, you can't prove that they own anything. Because you're like, well, is it really worth suing them? Am I actually going to get a lawsuit where I can actually seize on assets? And guess what? When people try to sue our clients, the answer to that is no. They can't find out what it is they own. If they do try to sue anyway, they get little to nothing. And this is why we've never lost. All right. So how do these anonymous trusts works? Well, first we look at the living trust. That's how we're able to keep assets anonymously when we go ahead and pass them to our heirs. It avoids probate court, and that's super important because otherwise you might inadvertently create a target on the back of your heirs by having to disclose to the public of who got what and how much they got. Next, what we do is own all of the companies anonymously. That means all of your LLCs are owned by anonymous trusts. And if anybody looks in and say, who owns this entity? It's a trust that's connected to an attorney that's connected to a law firm. This is part of the nominee trustee services that we provide to all of our clients. Next, we always hold all of our assets anonymously by using land trusts. Again, if they say, well, who owns 123 Main Street? Well, it's Scott Royal Smith with the 123 Main Street Trust. It looks like this asset was sold to a trust, and we have no idea if it was sold to investors or if it's what's really going on with this asset. Best of all, if they say, well, hey, maybe this person still owns the asset, you don't. It's actually owned by the child series and the LLC. If they try to sue and they guess, they're going to guess wrong. They're going to blow $15,000 by making a bad guess. Now, what you need next is complete legal protection. And for a lot of our clients, it's a lot like this. It feels like calculus, but guess what? It's not. It's actually so simple to get good legal protection. What you got to look at is what are going to be the types of assets that you own. If it's apartments and commercial buildings, you're going to need to use a hub and spoke because that's the way that the financing works for those types of entities, right? Now, the bad part to hub and spoke is that you end up having to have all of these bank accounts and sets of books, and you have to pay to maintain all these entities. So it's expensive and it's laborious. But if you're in those asset classes, that's what you got to do. For everybody else out there, for all the other kinds of assets, what you want to be using is either a series LLC or a Delaware statutory trust, because they allow you to maintain one entity with one set of accounting books, but it's infinitely scalable at no additional cost with only one entity to maintain. Series LLCs are great for everybody in the United States outside of California. California residents, you get nailed with franchise taxes. So you need to use Delaware and Wyoming trusts. And we can set up all of these structures. We can also set up limited partnerships for you if you're a foreign investor and need protection, but are worried about corporate tax rates, or if you're a syndication deal sponsor and you need to minimize the number of signers on a loan. If you're a high net worth individual and you need offshore LLCs or you need offshore trusts, we're able to put together all of these types of entities for you. So that way you never have to worry about like anything that comes about with, am I really getting the best protection that's appropriate for me and that's most efficient for me? So whether it's a hub and spoke using a Wyoming LLC with individual LLCs formed in the state where the assets are located and having land trusts underneath those, or it's a series LLC formed in Delaware, Texas, Nevada, or Wyoming, owned by an anonymous trust to create the anonymity there and have the individual child series to compartmentalize each asset. Or if it's a Delaware or Wyoming statutory trust that you need because you live in California or have assets in California. Or if you need some type of mix because, hey, I need a series LLC for my 1 to 4 unit properties and some land that I own. Hey, but by the way, I'm also going to acquire an apartment complex. So what I really need here is I need a traditional LLC. We can park that right underneath this parent entity, streamline the taxes, streamline the accounting, make it easy for you to model. So I hope you're seeing that this stuff builds like Lego blocks, and it doesn't matter what you own. You can always infinitely scale in any direction that you need to, and it's completely fungible. Now, creating a generational plan, this estate plan for your children and your heirs is super important. You're able to do things here like being able to help guide their future. It's not like, hey, you need to become a doctor, an engineer, and if you don't, you're going to be punished. It's more like creating the right incentives. Like I want to be able to provide for my daughter's wedding. I want to be able to make sure my kids have money for school. If they want to start a business, I want to be able to have that amount of money set aside. Your living trust and your estate plan is going to be able to help provide that for you when you have a comprehensive estate plan that includes all of these factors, your durable power of attorney and medical power of attorney to help people help take care of things for you if you ever end up in the hospital. Your living wills. That way, if you get, super incapacitated and you want to talk about, life prolonging issues, you have those spelled out. Declaration of guardianship. So to know who is going to take care of the kids. And of course, your pour of a will and living trust to be able to make sure all of the assets pass immediately and anonymously to your heirs. And your estate plan looks a little bit like this. You have your living trust that owns any of the businesses that you own. We call these operating companies because they're the active businesses. Your asset holding company owns all of your assets, but everything is owned by your living trust. So you have one document to form and one to maintain to be able to pass everything on to your heirs. Next, you look at your estate plan. This is your healthcare power of attorney, your durable power of attorney, all those other documents that only come into place if you need them during your life. So simple. Next, what we do is streamline all of your insurance so it doesn't feel like you're having to herd 1,000 policies with 1,000 agents. We have a single point of contact in Royal Legal Solution in-house to be able to do everything for your life insurance, your disability or cash flow protection insurance, your real estate, your auto, plane, boat, as well as all of your umbrella policies, and get it into one cohesive strategy with using good insurance companies that have high claims payout rates. Those are a little bit more expensive, but guess what? You pay a little bit more for insurance that actually works and for them not to just deny coverage on you. And we also requote the policies for you every single year to make sure that you're never overpaying on any of your insurance and that you have quality insurance. Next, what we're going to do is free up your time. The way we do that is being super responsive to you to get you the answers you need, because there's nothing more frustrated than somebody telling you that, oh, the team is working on it and you just have to sit there and wait. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we give you next day business support to the legal support at royallegalsolutions.com email address, which is monitored by the paralegal team. 98% of the issues that you ask about is the same as the other 2,000 real estate investors we've helped over the last 8 years. So we should have those answers. If we don't, it gets escalated to an attorney meeting. You never pay anything extra for those conversations with the attorney. Next, we automate all of the maintenance of your entities. So that way those are all taken care of for you automatically every single year. We sign the public information reports, we sign the franchise tax filings, we take care of the updating the minutes and take care of all of those issues that come up. All of your files are stored into a secured online accessible folder. So that way you have access to all of your files, all of your diagrams, and everything is there in that file for you. And we're able to execute everything electronically through electronic signatures. So no matter where you're at, you could be traveling, you could be doing anything else in the world, you're going to be able to take care of your important matters off of your cell phone if you wanted to. So this is so easy, guys. What you get when you work with us is we're going to maximize your cash flow and net worth. We're going to get you on the path to pay $0 in taxes safely. We're going to make you anonymous. We're going to get you bulletproof legal protection. We're going to design the estate plan to protect your family. We're going to streamline all of your insurance relationships. We're going to give you the legal oversight to make sure you're doing things right every single step of the way. And all you have to do, guys, is just book a call to get a price and be able to take those next steps into your future. So book a call so you can get a price right now.